Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nidhi and you're watching my series on how to become a cabin crew. So, 2 weeks ago I actually released a video where I talked about how you can go online and use different portals like 16personalities.com or any other personality test that you can take for yourself to basically find out how you can figure out what are your strengths and your weaknesses. You could actually also find out what are some of the skills that you use at your workplace or in your personal life, which will basically help you to understand who you are better. And of course, it will also allow you to use all this information, one, in your resume, and second, at your interview itself. So as promised, I'm back with the second video of that series where I will be sharing with you guys how you can make a winning resume. Now, we all know when we go to that interview room, regardless of whether it's a cabin crew interview or a non-cabin crew interview, usually the recruiter does not take a long time looking at our resume. They usually glance through it. So they really want to be able to see specific information, relevant information, and the information which is going to be useful for you to sell yourself even before the interviewer actually starts asking you questions. I also, as promised, will be making another video which is going to be focusing on applicant tracking system, which is something that most of the airlines actually use. In fact, a lot of recruitment companies or other companies also use to filter basically the resumes that come through. And I'm going to be talking about that in the next video. But for this video, we're going to be focusing on the resume. But for those people who haven't watched the first video, do go ahead and watch that. And for the ones who want to find out what the ATS is all about and how you can actually use the system to your advantage, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. And go ahead and follow me on Instagram as well. If you're watching it on Instagram, then fantastic. Step one that you need to ensure whenever you're about to make your resume is to have correct information. Now, what you need to basically do is go ahead and collate all the necessary information that you need to put on your resume. Work experience letters, your current or your past experiences. Go ahead and gather the relevant dates and not just the years, but also the months. Go ahead and find out what exactly was your title, what was your job, what was your responsibilities, because all this is going to be part of your resume. Regarding your professional certification, your educational qualifications, all of that information you would need to put on your resume. Number two, this is a very important piece of information and please listen to it very carefully. Unlike last times, these days airlines do not usually conduct any walk-in interviews. Very few airlines basically conduct walk-in interviews and they would ask you to bring in your resume so that the interviewers can look at it. Most of the airlines actually do online recruitment. They will ask you to fill up an online form and based on the information that you provided and the CV that you have attached, they will go ahead and shortlist your profile and then will call you for the assessment. So in terms of the information that you would provide online, and of course the CV that you're going to attach does not really go through the human eye when it goes through that filtration process. And that is why you would realize that a lot of resumes actually do get rejected. In fact, I get a lot of messages from people saying that I've submitted my resume so many times but it always keeps getting rejected. So the reason why it's getting rejected is because most likely it is not ATS proof, which is applicant tracking system. Now, because it's not going through the human eye, it's going through robots. It's really, really important that you focus on the design, the formatting, the keywords that you're basically putting on your resume. And I'm going to make a separate video on this, which I just talked about, which is the third video in this series, which I'm going to be releasing very, very soon. But that's the second thing that you need to ensure you do. Your resume has to be ATS proof. So do not forget to watch out for that video. And of course, apart from that, when you are selected, the recruiters do take a look at your actual resume or your profile as well, or the information that you will be sharing with them. So you want to ensure that whatever information that you provide, as I was saying earlier, it's not just relevant, but at the same time, it catches the eyes of the recruiter so that when they glance through it, they can actually immediately understand that you are that person who does fit into the role of a cabin crew that they're looking for. And that is what brings us to the next point, which is Number 3, what exactly should you put in that resume? So very simple, basic information is the best thing to do, to be very honest with you, but it's exactly how you present that information. To be very honest with you, this is exactly what I say when I tell you guys about the interview itself. It's not about the information, it's about how the information is being presented. So that is what you need to understand. So basically what you need to do is to understand it very, very quickly. You can start off by, putting down your name, your email address, your physical address, and of course your telephone number. Now make sure your email address is correct. Your phone number does have the country code, especially if you're applying for international airlines, which can then be followed by a personal summary. Now this personal summary could be really about what makes you an ideal candidate to fit into the role of a cabin crew of a particular airline. It could also highlight a few of your achievements. So followed by your personal summary, you can list down your educational qualifications. Followed by that, you could actually highlight your professional qualifications or certifications. So for example, I have done a course in leadership and work skill force management. So that is something which is a professional qualification that I have attained. I know a lot of people who have done first aid courses. That could be your professional certification. But even if you don't have it and you're a fresher, don't worry about it, because as I always say, there is a reason why airlines are ready to hire freshers. So if you don't have that in your resume and you don't have that as part of your professional qualification, it's not going to bring you down. So don't worry about that. So followed by that would be your work experience. So when you're listing down your work experiences, make sure you list down the company that you're working for, the job title that you have, the time that you worked with them from this date to this date, or if you're currently working with them. Then go ahead and talk about what exactly did you do with them. And I'm going to talk about that in a short while, because that portion is really, really important. And of course, for people who do not have the work experience, talk about your achievements, talk about your awards that you would have won probably in your school. Moving on, the next section could be your key skills and your competencies, because that is really, really important, guys. The recruiters definitely want to look at them, and that is something which is very, very useful for ATS as well. So go ahead and list down your key skills and your competencies, followed by your personal interest. Number 4, don't make a generic resume. You don't have to make one resume and you can just keep sending it out to everyone. When you're making a resume, make it specific to the airline, and that is where it's really, really important to actually Google a little bit about what exactly are the cabin crew of that airline all about. What is the mission, vision statement of this particular airline that you're applying for? What exactly does it believe in? What are some of the values that it shares? Because that is something that you would want to put on your resume. So when the interviewer actually looks at it, he or she realizes that yes, there are things that are common between you and the airline, and that of course gives you an edge over again. Number 5, and this is to do with the work experience that I was referring to earlier. So when you're writing your work experience, don't make it about jobs, roles, and responsibilities. Let's be honest, if your job as an accountant, for example, is to basically maintain registers or maintaining account for your customers, do you think I'm really interested to find out that particular information, or do you think I'm actually interested to find out how did you do that? What kind of skill set did you actually use to achieve what you wanted to achieve in your job? If you wanted to achieve customer satisfaction, how exactly did you do that? Talk about your achievements. So for example, if there was a time where you achieved something in your job, go ahead and put that down in your work experience. How did you handle your customers to deliver excellent customer service? Put that in your work experience. So use all these skills that you would be using basically to sell yourself to the recruiters. Of course, for people who do not have the work experience, talk about your achievements, talk about your awards that you would have won probably in your school. Or as I said earlier, if you have any voluntary experience, go ahead and put that down in your resume. And of course, talk about how you actually incorporated some of the skills in that voluntary experience. Or if you managed a project in your school, how exactly you use some of the skills to bring the team together or to achieve a result that you wanted to achieve. So put all that down on your resume. That is what's going to go ahead and catch the eye of the recruiter. please be very, very consistent and genuine with the information that you share. Of course, we want to make an impact, but not at the cost of losing integrity. So, you know, given a chance that they would ask you something from your resume, and if you're not able to answer that, that would actually have a very, very bad mark on your credibility. So don't ever do that. So that is the last piece of sharing that I have for you guys. So I really hope that this video would help you in designing that winning resume for yourself. And of course, the next video that I'm going to be making is basically talking about the ATS, the applicant tracking system, which is deployed by a lot of airlines, as I've been talking about. So go ahead and watch this video, do like, share and comment. And of course, at the same time, you all know I do provide coaching, so get in touch with me, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and press the notification bell for more video update. I really hope this helps all of you here. And in the meantime, as I always say, always stay pretty, stay handsome, and I love you guys.